Hi all, welcome to my second video, which is a follow-up video to the heater blower exchange that I did last week. The video's been really popular and thank you all for watching it. And it's raised quite a lot of questions, so I thought what I'd do is actually just jump back into my car and just run through some of them with you. So first question was, how did I diagnose the that it was the heater blower in the first place? Like, what symptoms did I have? So of course I didn't really explain that in the last video, so I thought I'd do that again. So basically what I had, everything here worked. So all the little light came on and up and down. I could set the temperature to where I wanted. I could turn it on and off. I could even hear everything clicking under the dashboard. But what wouldn't happen was nothing after that. So there was no heater blower kind of like woo to get everything going. So even when the car kind of naturally warmed up, I could still even hear it clicking. And when I changed it from like low to high and back again, everything worked. The two buttons worked, but as I say, just simply no blower. So what I did after that was, so under the side here, under the dash where the blower lives, I then got my multimeter out and checked the connection as it plugs into the fan, and I had full 12 volts. So I knew everything was working as it should do, and obviously there was a problem with the fan. So that's how I diagnosed it in the first place. There are other heater faults to be made aware of. These things can die. So you've probably seen them available on eBay. They're quite simple to undo and change. There's only I think it's 1 or 2 connectors behind it. I have done a video on how to remove that. So if your fault is here, if this is all dead, the likelihood is it's not your blower, it's going to be something here. Okay, so check that through. So second question, did it all go back together? Did it all work? Yes, it all went back together. As the video explained, I'd done everything in reverse, and as soon as I hit the little button here, like this, so fan comes on and you can hear that is my heater blower all working as it should do. So I'm most happy with that. I mean, this car, I've spent a year and a half in this car with no heater, scratching my head trying to work this out. So I'm really happy that it's now done. Next question, I changed the resistor pack as well as the fan. Yes, you're absolutely right, I did. And the reason being was quite simple. Not that I've ever seen it with an Alfa Romeo, but I have seen it with Audi and Volkswagen, where the heater blower goes, and basically you don't change it for a while, kind of the symptom I have with this car. And what it does, it burns out the resistor pack. So of course the resistor pack's still got 12 volts going to it. It's still trying to do its job. So I didn't know whether mine would be faulty or not. I was still showing 12 volts at the cable as it plugged into the fan, but I thought, do you know what, as I bought that whole other unit that I bought in the video, it's out of a much later car, and I thought, do you know what, just swap it over and change it. So I probably didn't need to, but these things do have a habit of going, and the last thing I wanted to do was get back under the dashboard again to be anywhere near that job. And as they live quite next to each other, I thought, sod it, we'll just change it. So on that subject, if you have a heater resistor fault, so basically what that will do on your fan here, as you turn it on, it will work in some parts and not others. So if you're turning this on and you've got nothing from the word go right the way up, the likelihood is it's the blower. Whereas if you kind of like, it didn't work here but then it worked here, didn't work here and then here, then that would lead to a resistor fault issue. Another question, did any of the warning lights come on my dashboard after I'd finished the job? Obviously I left my battery live. I had to, still haven't fixed it, but my bonnet catch is currently here and is in pieces. It's completely seized solid, so I need to do some serious work with that. So I couldn't disconnect my battery, and obviously with this job I totally recommend you disconnect the battery. That's the first thing you do, because you're going to be taking out the airbag. So in answer to the question, no, I had no warning lights come on at all once I'd finished the job. So basically all I'd done was switch the ignition off, took the keys out of the ignition, made sure nothing was on inside the car, disconnected everything properly, and then put it all back together in reverse. What I couldn't do was obviously test the blower or the heater resistor pack that I changed until I had the entire car back together. That left me sweating a bit when I put it all back together, but it was fine. And as you can see, I have no warning lights on my dashboard at all. Yes, that's right, it's a 110,000 mile car. So this was my company car before it became our family car, so I've had it from new. Love it to bits, probably will never end up getting rid of it. It's chipped, which I fully recommend. This thing's got 220 horsepower. It goes like stink. My DNA control works really well, and it does about 50 to the gallon. So yeah, it's all happy days. Anyway, back to the job. So sorry, last question. Didn't show how the steering cowling came off. No, you're right, I didn't. I kind of assumed that most people would know. If you're going to attempt this sort of job, then basically taking this off is going to be relatively simple, but I will just show you as I'm here. So it comes off, it's in 3 parts. So underneath you've got it's a tiny hex bolt in here, and another one here, and a couple more down here. So that's one part, which is the bottom. The bit around the cruise control and up to the indicator, that's another part. So that comes off separately, and then the top part is here. Now the top part, I guess it is a little tricky. Let me just release my steering wheel. There we go. So this part in here, this the leathery part, clips up. Sorry, it's gone out of focus, I do apologise, but it kind of clips up underneath here. And it has a clip on one side and a clip on the other side, and then all these little bits in the middle, and then you can take this part off as well. So sorry for not explaining that, and I think that's kind of it. I can't think of anything else that you're going to need. Would I, oh sorry, last one, would I recommend a novice doing this? Do you know what, I think I would. It's not that tricky. Don't get me wrong, you're going to need a few cups of tea and perhaps a little head scratching moment like here and there, but it's okay. It's not a terrible job. And I think if you're competent enough to put headlight bulbs in one of these things, then you are competent enough to change the heater blower. It's a little tricky. What I would recommend is make sure you've got the tools before you do it. And that's kind of it really. And then the last 2 questions. Somebody noticed my dashboard. Thanks. Yes, I love it. It is maroon 3D carbon vinyl wrapped jobby. I'll be doing it again shortly. I did this. I'm actually going to give it to a man to do it properly. But what I am going to do is put the double DIN unit in and take this out. I'm going to put a DAB radio in here. I say this Alfa, it's got most of the usual Alfa faults, and the one that it's just now suddenly got, well I say suddenly got, but has recently got, is the antenna. So the wire is degraded, so it now can barely receive a radio signal. So happy days. So I thought what I'd do is fork out the 150 quid to change the dashboard, another 300 quid to put a decent stereo in it, and then I'm going to put a shark fin DAB aerial on the roof and then run all the cable through. So and yes, this is available on eBay. It was about £8. It's proper good and it's done the job, and it just looks nice. It kind of matches all the stitching on the seats and stuff, so I quite like it. And then the last one, can you share the videos and all that sort of stuff? Yes, absolutely. I don't make a profit out of the videos. I do it generally to help people. So hopefully I you know, they do help. And you can share them where you want. So stick them on Facebook, put them on Alpha groups, really don't mind or care, just go for your life. All right. Okay, anything you need to go, give me a shout. You can either send me a message through the YouTube system, and I'll pick it up. Okay. So enjoy and good luck. See you later. Bye bye.